everyone, welcome to One by One, a podcast where we uncover the stories, strategies, and secrets behind extraordinary success. I'm your podcast host, Robert Murigi, and we'll be building each other from the ground up. Join us as we uncover the blueprints of building a life, a career, or a business from the ground up. Subscribe now and never miss an episode from us. And on our today's podcast, we are going to look into one mechanical proverb, and it says that good judgment comes from experience and experience comes from bad judgment. And this rings the bell across mechanical field and also in life that we live each and every day. What does this mean? Let us look further and see what exactly this proverb means. And therefore, when we talk about this, we are talking about when we talk about bad judgment, it looks like we had some mistakes, that we have done some mistakes somewhere that you might be paying so deeply or so dearly today. But what does this mean? All bad judgment, in most cases, comes with good lessons depending on how you have looked at it. And when we talk about mistakes, how do we avoid these mistakes? It is through understanding and comprehensive understanding of the thing on our hearts. What is this one thing that we want to do so well, so that we don't do these mistakes, so that we can move forward and we move to the future in certainty. But do we normally sit there and beat ourselves when we have done that mistake? But we can wake up and reevaluate and pick up the lessons and move forward so that you can move to the best position in your life. And when it comes to mechanics and you find your car acting up, your car is acting, and at this stage, what do you need? You need to identify what is going on. And how can you identify what is going on without having the skills, understanding, and know-how on the things which are about to come to you? But when we have the proper understanding, even if it is basic understanding of something, and for instance, you have bought a small car and you love it, and this car you use it each and every day to go to work. But how can you best know that when this tire is deflated, this is what happens to my car and it drives in a certain way, or this car needs to be serviced at every 50,000 or 1,000 or 200, depending on what you do and what kind of equipment. Because some equipment is you service them per hour because they do not move, they're just stationary equipment. And for you to know how much it is normally used, it is always good to have a hour meter so that you don't overuse it and then you break it before it's time. And how do we gain these skills, and how do we gain understanding, and how do we get the know-how on how things operate in our life? This is through seeking understanding. You seek understanding. Seek knowledge, skills. This is the only way that you are going to be in the safe side with this particular type of a problem. And when we go back here and say that this time you have made a good judgment, it is not just by mistake, but because you have paid for that price. How do we pay so firmly on the things? How do we pay prices firmly on the things that we have already gone through? And how many lessons do we pick, and how do we pick these lessons so that we do not find ourselves in the hot soup? How do we gain How do we gain experience? This, especially in trades jobs like mechanics, this is by getting your hands dirty. We have talked about this on one of the episodes. We have talked about get your hands dirty, immerse yourself. And this is where the mistakes comes in. When you are trying that one thing that you haven't done it before, and this thing that you're trying, it has given you problems, or it has given another team a big problem, either in diagnostics or either in moving that seized bolt in your truck or in your vehicle, or trying to pull that diff which is refusing to come out because it has been welded when the vehicle did not get serviced in time. And how do we get this? You gain experience by getting your hands dirty. Getting your hands dirty, or hands-on experience. When you want to gain that knowledge in diagnostic or in painting, there is the gun control that you need to do it so nicely. Or when you get that problem and it has been giving enough people enough problems, how do you go about it? Or you just jump on it and try stuff. This is where we lose money, and this is where the customer loses money, just because you did not do it the first time the right way. And on your route to making good decisions, and we have said very well that you have to make some bad decisions sometimes for you to make the right ones. But how are we doing this? And how do people make bad decisions? Let us see. What causes bad decision? Bad decisions, sometimes it is normally caused by being in a hurry, or inadequate experience, being misguided, ignorance, all this could make you make that bad decision, and that one bad decision that you make may make you lose a lot of time down the line. Because when you fix that machine and you make a mistake, this means that you might be affecting other components which are also in line with whatever you are fixing. And what happens down the line? You create more problems, and now you might end up fixing more than you could have fixed the first time. But how do we avoid these mistakes so that we can reduce the risk of this running curve? By making sure that you pay attention to details. Because if you do not know something, and you do not have much knowledge, or you do not have much information about it, it might even be easier for you to take a little bit of time to study it and see where you could make very bad mistakes that could lead you to further damage in the future. And also, when we talk about experience, this is what we are trying to gain at this point. But how do we gain experience at a glance? This could help you. If you're doing that machine, you could quickly go to that manual and check, because the manual will be there for you to cross-check. Or you could call a friend to ask for something that you did not know. If you need to gain experience, sometimes you could also do it that way, rather than just making all the mess and making mistakes that you may not be able to undo in your life or when you're fixing this particular machine. And also when we talk about misguided advice, sometimes it's good when you get that advice from someone or you get that advice from your friend. It is good to cross-check the advice that you have got so that you do not have or you start implementing something that you know it will not finish in the right way. And therefore, when we also go through there and see about the ignorance, there are people who do not really care about what they are doing or what they do each and every day, and this could cause you catastrophic failure in that equipment that you're trying to fix. And making mistakes sometimes could help you, and this shows very clearly that you're already trying to learn. Because for anyone who doesn't do anything, it will be very hard to bring them for nothing. And therefore, when we talk about this, I remember one time when I had this car and it had a knocking noise, and we assumed something might have fallen inside the cylinder head, inside the piston crown, and we were thinking, how could that thing could have gotten there? And this time we tried to check the spark plugs, we tried to check in there, and this assumption where we did not do proper investigation ended up changing the head gasket. And at this time, so many other things could have been saved through this process. And therefore, when we have this kind of issues in our cars, when we have issues feeling that knocking noise at the bottom of your engine, I don't think necessarily that it will be the span bearing, or you're saying the crankshaft is having some issues there, or the oil pump. Sometimes it could be as simple as that process that you can just check 2 or 3 things and do the elimination process. This learning process, embracing mistakes, is very, very vital, and we need to carry on with that so that we can achieve that one thing that we really want. And therefore, signs of growth, signs of learning, is mistakes. If you want to know whether you are learning anything or you are moving forward, see how many mistakes you have done, or see how many mistakes that you have been involved in, and at this point, what do? You learn and you take the lessons and you go as fast as you can. Why? Because the world is not waiting for anyone, but it's waiting for you to do your part so that we can all come together as one. And whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur, seasoned professional, or simply someone looking for inspiration, one by one, we will help you, we will keep you with the tools and insights you need for you to lay the foundation of your own success stories. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. Your feedback helps us to grow and to bring you even more inspiring stories. Thank you for listening to Building from the Ground Up. Remember, every great accomplishment starts with one single step. What are you going to build today? Until next time, keep building, keep striving, and keep reaching for your dreams.